Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here. This week I'm doing the second challenge with the Counterfeit Kit Club, and it's a sketch challenge, and this is the sketch I'm using, or this is the sketch that we were issued in the challenge. 2 photos, a doily behind, a horizontal piece here, a large, fairly strong print here, fairly strong pattern, and a list here for journaling. It took me a while to come up with what I wanted to do here, and I took inspiration additionally from For the Love of Pretty Paper. Natalie Nelson has just moved homes, and she's issued a challenge for us to scrapbook something about our home, or our homes in this case. So I thought this kind of looked to me like a list, and Lord knows I have a list of homes that we've lived in. And so I've kind of taken it from there. What I have here is my dry fit first pass at what this layout might look like. I've typed up or printed up a list of the general identifications of the home. I don't have the exact addresses there for the protection of the people who live in those homes now. And then I've left a space in between where I've handwritten some of my, just a really one-line, personal description of the home. I've got a few perspectives here. One of our homes was an RV when we'd sold our home, but hadn't retired yet, so couldn't move quite yet. And so we lived in our RV in a KOA park in Houston. I've got the word sweet. I'm going to use the title, Homes, Sweet Homes. And I've selected the alphas for the homes. Let me get that light back on. And I have an ampersand in a color pink that kind of goes with Katie's shorts in the photos. And the pink I'm trying to bring in by using these strips, which are the reverse side of this blue polka dotted paper. And you may recall when I selected my kit for this month's Counterfeit Kit Club, I included this paper because of the florals, and I thought it was a way to bring in these pinks and purples into what otherwise was kind of a gray, blue, and green kit. So as you can see, I used the aqua polka dot side of it, and this is all that's left of the floral. So I'll try to work them in somehow. I have additionally a sticker sheet from Echo Park that had this This Crazy Life, which I thought might be appropriate in a list of homes, and it has that aqua in it that kind of goes, but I think I'm going to rule that out. I may use some of these hearts or some of these numbers, so I'll kind of keep it on the desk. I've got this Maggie Home sticker sheet, and what attracted me there was on here, on this horizontal piece, I was going to use these mixed up banners. And I may use 1 or 2. I want to, as you can see, I have a gold doily, and I'd kind of like to repeat that gold somewhere. I have a blue glitter arrow. I'd like to add glitter. So a gold glitter banner. This pink doesn't necessarily go there, but I may be able to work it in. This is I have a cluster down here that I may be able to fit that in. Again, I'm not sure. I kind of have to wait and see what seems to be enough or too much. So, one of the things that I am using on here that I absolutely love, I've selected a favorite home for the photos, and I've got two photos, one from when we were living there, and it had a yellow door, and they've since painted the yellow door. This is in Brussels, in the community of Etterbeek in Brussels, Belgium. And we loved the home not only because it was a penthouse loft type home inside, but it had a wonderful location within Brussels. And we were just a couple blocks from a metro station, and it was easy access to where we both worked. And the big thing is that Brussels is a great hub for any kind of European travel. All the airlines, because it's the center of the European Union, the airlines go to all of the European countries and with relatively cheap flights. So that was the big thing, was the travel. So I'm putting this here. I'm planning to do a companion page, also inspired by Natalie, where I have photos of all of these homes. I've located 10 of the 15. I have nice photos that I can use. Have to find the other 5, and then I'm going to do that entirely digitally, and I will have some impressions, deeper impressions than these one-liners about each home, how much renovating we did, how much control we had over the style or decoration of the home, as well as how much gardening. We got into gardening quite a bit in some of our homes. So, without further ado, I think I'll start playing at putting these things together. How I sometimes have people asking me about measurements. When in looking at this, I decided that I wanted this solid, darker blue cardstock to be the background, and I wanted this pattern to be about 7 inches across, and I wanted this to I wanted the names, the houses, to fit above where this line was going to go. So everything kind of took off from what I needed. I didn't want, because I was typing it up, I didn't want it to be in the middle of the list. So I've kind of left this part blank. And I'm going to put this down altogether lower than is shown here, which leaves me some space up here, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that. That's where I may move in some of these other elements, or I may leave it as it is. Okay, so first, also, I had this, I just picked this up recently. It's a die set. There are 23 different dies here, and there are all these homes and little towers and balconies and windows and clothes that go on the clothesline and trees and so forth. I die cut a few of the buildings out of papers that are in my counterfeit kit for this month. And one of the ideas I had when I cut them out, they left these little kind of frames, and I thought I'd use those as templates to trace the outlines of the buildings. And that would have been a nice idea had this not already been cluttered. So I will save these and use them another time. Not going to do that on this particular layout. What I thought I might do is on the digital layout, as I type things up and put the photos there, maybe I'll take these and go through and trace outlines of buildings randomly throughout that page. So I'll figure that out later. I'm going to put those aside. I have matted the photos in this paper, and I also cut one of the buildings out of this paper. That's one of the favorite papers I have in my kit. There's that paper again. We've already talked about this paper. I don't need that. This was the paper I brought into my kit. Plans to use it. I've used it here for this horizontal piece, but I think I'm going to use this beautiful ombre yellow side of it next time I use it. And what I'm noticing is it kind of looks really nice with some of the yellows in this Maggie Holmes sticker sheet, and I have a little bit more of that in my kit. So I'm going to put that aside. Don't think I'll need any more now. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is kind of move things off and start gluing the big pieces down, and then take off from there. And I'll kind of talk you through. I usually have all of this a bit more in hand and decided before I do. See, isn't that beautiful floral paper that I'm covering up? Maybe I should have used that side, but I thought it was getting kind of busy, and I really didn't want to do that. Okay, there's that. What I did is cut this paper down to 11 and a half by 11 and a half. And then for this, and then I cut 7 inches off here. Then I cut a quarter inch off this so that I'd have quarter-inch borders all around, and then a quarter-inch strip kind of dividing the list from everything else. So this I can glue down confidently. I wasn't quite sure till I had dry fit everything, and that was the main reason I did that dry fitting. Some people dry fit every layout. I don't. I sometimes do in situations like this, but as a rule, that's not something I do. Okay, this is kind of what I want that to look like, and that's about the location I want for it. So I'm ready to glue this down. And I'll take it from the border. I'll glue it just inside that border and have it overlap a little bit here. Then I'll take this strip, and it will run, it's a full 12-inch strip. It'll run all the way across. And I'm assuming that my houses and everything will fit. If they don't fit exactly as I dry fit them, I did not take a photo to guide me or anything to get real precise like that. Let me, as you can tell, precise isn't my middle name. Okay, so we do this. The first most important thing are the photos. And I'm good with the photos being tucked a little bit down into that strip. Let me see if that works. Actually, I think I'd prefer that they're on top because I do want them to have different heights. So I'm going to go with this. I'll glue this down, and then I'll put foam behind the other. I want to be sure that I leave room for this house and tree here, and that ampersand. That's going to be kind of a little cluster, and I want to be sure that it's not forced to the edge. Okay, let me cut a piece of foam where that. I keep my handy sheets of foam and cut them irregularly and whatever fits, right? Okay, may want to tuck, I do the foam strip kind of in the center so that if I need to or want to, I can tuck things under. Let's do it that way. That's good. I'm kind of covering up that basement grate, and that's okay. It's kind of an ugly part of the photo. I did not put my doily in, and the doily I think is a really nice part of the design. I don't want it centered on the photos. I prefer the photos to be, now in this it's sort of centered. There's a little bit showing on the left, and I kind of like that look. I'm going to tuck it behind. I actually am going to cut some off the bottom, and I can use that on another layout. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to tuck a lot of this. I spray painted this gold, and the spray paint didn't, on the solid part, this center part, it kind of pooled and made little spotty looking places. So I wanted to hide that and have only the lacy part showing. So that's what I've got there. This little house I think I'll put here, and I'm going to, for the most part, put the houses on dots and raise them up to add some dimension and also to allow me to overlap without okay, so that looks good. I'm going to overlap that little, if you can see here, there's this cute little balcony kind of sticking off this one. And I love these dies. They're the little details cut out. And had I wanted to, I could have cut out framing for those windows and pasted them on there. That's not how much trouble I wanted to go to for this layout. This wasn't meant to be a particularly detailed layout. The houses are just to reinforce the theme of many houses. And I'm going to put this evergreen next to the house, also pop dotted up. Again, if I wanted to, if the houses needed to be detailed as part of my overall theme, I could use a marker to, when I cut this out of green, I could use a marker to make the trunk brown. But again, not what I was particularly going for here. So I'm going to do this perspective from, they're from a wonderful company, a UK company called Bramble Fox, and I subscribe and I get a Fox box in the mail every month, and it always has these wonderful goodies. Some just small accents like this ampersand, some larger words like the word sweet here, and symbols like the RV. Okay, we're gonna do this and that. That's not gonna work perfectly there because the photo is glued down. Here, let me make sure that you're seeing that. And I apologize for the lighting. I've had some problems with that lately, and I hope to solve those at some point soon. Okay, these houses, I was going to do I'm not quite sure how I had the houses arranged. Again, not a big fan of completely deciding all that. This one, there are quite a few windows there, and they didn't all get weeded out. And I left some of those in because it kind of looks like some of the windows are have the curtains drawn and some are wide open. Let me check something out. I think I have a small piece. Wondering if having yellow show through would look enough like light, and I've decided that for the trouble I'd have cutting that out, I wouldn't gain too much. Okay, so I'm going to put these two here and kind of just glue those down. I'm going to use wet glue because my double-sided tape wouldn't necessarily, it might span an area where I have a window and the tape might show through. I'm going to kind of scooch this one down here and let it have a background. I'm going to apply glue only to the kind of solid part here and let the rest kind of move up or down. Let this, these are kind of abstract, and that's perfect for me. Okay, so that's down. This cluster over here, I intend to have this house and this little house maybe at a angle like that. I thought I might use this tree, and I like those all down, and then I'll put this arrow over. So I want to get all of these things glued down. Again, using the liquid glue. This blue one, I may be able to pop dot up, and I'd like to do that if I can. I'll even put a small one up at the roof line, and I usually let the roofs curl if they want to curl. This is going to make it harder to put the arrow across. The arrow will have to rest on this house that's got a different elevation, shall we say, and it'll raise the arrow up kind of like that, and that's okay. I'm going to put this tree here because I know the arrow will go like that. Is that good? Maybe I'll put the tree here between these two houses, and then I have a tiny tree that I might place differently. This tree I think I'll glue down again with the liquid glue. Let it be rooted down here at the base of that line. So these are glued down. I'm going to put the arrow on, and then I'll figure out where to put the tree, where it shows the best. Again, a little bit less planning than I usually do, and it didn't kind of instinctively come together as most of my layouts do. This isn't a design I've used before, and possibly not one I'd have pinned on Pinterest, but I like how it's turning out. Okay, I'm going to put this tree here. So I've got 3 trees kind of all at different heights and spread across the page with these 2 homes in this cluster that are, you know, kind of down lower. I've got that glitter there. Let me see if there's any place that the next thing to do is glue the RV up here. It's actually a surfing van, but I'm not going to quibble with that. I'll just kind of, what I've done, there's a sticky glue dot on the underside, and I just put some wet glue on that so it'll stick in the same place, which kind of gives it some elevation and movement. Now, I will not do this on camera. I will add the homes in the alpha so that you don't have to suffer through watching me get the spacing just right. But now I want to see if I can bring in any of this gold glitter or anything from this Maggie Holmes sheet. I like this pink one, but it doesn't seem to, there just doesn't appear to be any place that a banner needs to be. There are lots of little bits that I could use and might normally use, but this is kind of a busy list and a busy layout here, so I kind of like the simplicity of this openness. But I do want some other glitter and some gold. Is there anywhere? Let's try. Let me try. A little bit. Kind of tucked a tiny banner in there. And let me find another one. There's this plain one. I could do maybe up here, kind of setting that at an angle. That's kind of, that it overlaps the gold. Okay, I'll do that. Actually, let me switch these two. I like the gold down here. I'm going to curl up the tail. Of course, it'll get smashed down in my album once I put it in the page protector, but that's for me to worry about. It'll look pretty in the picture I take. I kind of tucked it in there. It seems like I could tuck something over here, just bring that gold over to this side of the page. And I've got this star. Okay. That star seems apropos of nothing, but just as this RV is a nod to the fact that we lived in our RV at this KOA park, the star is a nod to the fact that we've identified this as our favorite home because it was in Europe. It was unexpected that we'd get a wonderful expat assignment. The work was interesting and important, and we loved our home and we loved the travel opportunities. So we remember it fondly. Okay, so I think I'm going to call this done. It's an unusual layout for me. I've got elements I don't normally use. It's the first time I've used these little die cuts. I've brought in a little bit of pink and kind of have a few pink flowers showing through, not much. It doesn't try to compete with all the blues I have going on. And I'm going to use this kind of pink gold alpha, mainly because I have enough of the letters that I need to put the word homes twice. So I will publish a photo of the completed layout, and hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit different for me. So enjoy. See you next time. Bye.